Hey guys, welcome back to the Jaws Podcast, episode 10. And kind of crazy because we're in the double digits, so very, very poggers. Very poggers. And I'm super excited because this is basically an all-females cast, and I really wanted to talk about something very important to us and something we all have in common, which is essentially being a female, which is shocking, and being a gamer. So what it means to be one and the issues and sexism that arise while we're playing something or just generally being one. So today we got special guests and close friends of mine, and I'll have you guys introduce yourself. So say your gamer name, what games you play right now, / what your favorite game is currently. So Uyen, you go first.
So my name's Uyen, but I usually go by Minibo or Taro Misu. I'm currently playing Persona 5 Royal, waiting for Monster Hunter Rise to come out. My favorite game of all time is Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I love the game so much, it means so much to me. But yeah.
Yeah, you really loved that game during high school.
Okay. I still love it.
True. Ramisha, your turn.
Okay, hello, my name's Ramisha. I'm also go by Great Pumpkin, capital G, capital P. I'm playing Valorant, Apex, and Omori, I guess. I haven't played that in a while.
Oh, yeah.
But my favorite game, I have a lot, but I think my go-to will always be Animal Crossing because it's very chill.
Happy 1 year anniversary, by the way.
Happy 1 year anniversary, New Horizons. Wow.
Woo.
What a fantastic game that was. It was good for like 3 months and then life happened.
Yeah.
But
COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, Fariha, which we've already had Fariha, but I'm glad you come back. So
yeah, and then in a different context. This is a completely different one, but maybe a more fun topic too. But yeah, hi, my name's Fariha. I go by Shafordo on a stream, so that's literally spelled SH, the word for, and then DOW, but it's supposed to be shadow, but there's too many shadows. What I'm playing right now is mostly just Valorant and Apex and anything else I get sucked into by my friends, here and there. All time, I think my favorite game, it doesn't exist right now anymore, but was AVA, Alliance of Valiant Arms. That's kind of the first game that got me into like the PC gaming world, and I would play it religiously in like middle school and high school, so it's coming back, so I'm excited.
Wait, can you say the full name? I did not know that
I don't even know Alliance of Valiant Arms.
Wow.
Oh, Alliance of Valiant Arms.
Is that how you say it? Valiant?
I haven't heard
Valorant.
Yeah, it kind of has
It's a Korean game, and then it was it's still going on in like Asia. Like it's been around in Asia still, but the US management companies or whatever, that the publishers that ran it here just weren't doing a great job, but they're bringing it back again now to try it out again.
Wait, when is it coming out again?
It was supposed to come out in December, and then they said March, and now I think it's March 31st. I don't know how true that is.
Okay, so
but hopefully it's coming back.
Right now it's the 20th, so soon.
Yeah, there is hype around it, like at least for the people who used to play this game.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Exciting.
Okay, so first question for you guys, and it's kind of a heavy question, but essentially, what is your first time experiencing sexism with games, and what is the most toxic community in your opinion with video games? So I'll go first. And it's kind of weird because I have 2 older brothers, so they're like 10 years older than me, and I've always been raised with video games. And they never made it into a strange thing like, oh, you're a girl, so make sure you only play Kirby or something like that, or something. Not that I say Kirby is good, but it was not at all. They didn't push me into a bubble, which is nice. And so I think my first time experiencing it was in grade 9, and we were making like this car from wood shop. It was like wood shop work. I forgot what it's called. And you're supposed to make a car, and you're supposed to use CDs as wheels. So everyone brought in like shitty CDs. This guy brought in a Kingdom Hearts 2, a video game, the CD as his wheels, and I just looked at it, and I was just heartbroken. Ooh. I was like, excuse me.
Was it like the real copy, or was it like a
real copy.
ripped CD
Oh
or
my
something.
God.
Oh my god.
And I was like-
that would cringe.
I was so sad. He brought in that one and then a different video game, and I was just like so heartbroken because like, wait, I really like Kingdom Hearts, and so I asked him. I was like, hey, would it be okay if we traded CDs? I'll give you a shitty one and you give me the Kingdom Hearts one, and I'll keep it forever. And that's when he said, what? You play games? Well, girls don't play video games. Why would you know this game? And I was just like, what the hell? Like, really? You're just gonna say that to me? I was just shocked. And I'm like, are we gonna trade or what? And he's like, yeah, sure, take it. And I was like, okay, thank you. And I was just like so angry, but very happy that I got the game. So it was just like a very conflicting feeling at that point. But generally, I was just shocked that in grade 9, especially, like I expected in like elementary.
I was grade 9. This whole time I thought you were like 7.
No, it was in King in grade 9.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, damn, like this sucks. And plus, the class that I was in only had like 3 females. So
I was there actually.
What was this class?
no, you weren't there. You remember?
Was I not in your tech class? Yeah, I was in tech class.
She was the 2.
My
I was
tech.
I don't know if it was yours, but I was in tech class in the 9th.
Yeah, you were in Eliza's class in Ramisha.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, I was in the other one. But yeah, in my class specifically, I only had 3 girls. Yeah, and the other one that you guys had, there was only a small amount of girls too,
Mm-hmm.
which was ass. But anyways, I couldn't do anything. I was just like shocked, and I was just like, okay, I'll just want the CD. But
The ridiculousness of him questioning whether girls play games when he's the one like abusing a CD.
Yeah, right?
I
Yeah,
was like,
the
what-
nerve.
do you play games?
Absolutely.
I was like, do you not know how good this game is? Like, your taste is trash if you don't know what the hell this is. Like, I'm confused. Anyways, so that was my first time. And then to answer my second one, which is the most toxic community, I don't think I've experienced things too much. I haven't really played League or like CS:GO too much to experience that much sexism. But I think the most, well, for me is probably Valorant, because not that I've seen or experienced anything, but I've just kind of witnessed it through you guys. So I'll let you guys take it to you, like explain your situation. So whoever wants to go.
Okay, can I ask, can I explain like the first experience or like the deep, like the most impactful experience? Because I don't remember my first one, but I remember my most impactful one.
You could do both, or yeah, either one.
Okay, so I mean, similar to your situation, I have an older brother, so he played video games all the time, so I grew up with that. He didn't see any issue with that either, so it's pretty normal for me. But my parents are very like I guess conservative, because they see, you know, how they're like, oh, boys did this thing and girls did this thing.
Yeah.
So they always saw us boys like only boys play video games and girls don't. I think this happened like somewhere like early uni years, and my first or second year. Like I was playing a video game on my PC, and my mom like happens to watch me. She sees me playing games, and she's like, why are you playing the video games? Like, girls shouldn't be doing this, only boys should. And then I think like, well, I've had experiences like similar to that before, but like this, I guess like it just built up inside me to the point where I got really angry.
Yeah. And
I
frustrated.
kind of like lashed out at her, like, oh no, like why should it matter if I'm a girl or not? I can do whatever I want. I shouldn't be restricted by my gender. And then we had like a falling out. Like we stopped talking for like a few days. But yeah.
Did she make any of those comments before? Or no?
Like she'll make like small passings, but like I kind of just brushed it off. I was like, cause like you know, rebellious teen stage or like whatever.
Right.
I'm like just gonna ignore what my parents say. But I guess as you're older, you kind of just want to like stand up for yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But then the only reason we ended up like talking again was because my dad forced me to like apologize to my mom.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's very Asian parent like.
Right? Like, you know, the mentality is like, oh, we grew up in this perspective of life, so like you have to understand why we grew up this way. But like, why can't you understand how I grew up too, right?
Yeah. And
It should go both ways.
Yeah, they expect us
Circumstances
to
are
like,
different.
yeah, like yarn or like cook or something or do gardening rather than
Yeah.
like, playing games. I'm like, what? Like, but
Those things are fine too, but
Yeah.
yeah, like
let me do my own stuff. Hello.
yeah.
It's so boring. But yeah, like I don't understand why parents also That sucks. Oh yeah, I don't know what to say. Like my mom, she also does that, but a lot less because now that I have a job, poggers. But can't really explain much. But before, like yeah, I would always like lock my door and not even like make sure she doesn't see me playing games because it's such a taboo thing, or like you shouldn't be doing that. Like she considers that wasting your time when really like I'm sure you waste your own time just looking at like gossips on Facebook. Like calm down. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean I wish I could play video games in my room, but my room is too small to have like my own desk because like my bed takes up like half the space.
You don't need a bed.
It's me, don't worry.
True.
My room.
Second question was the most toxic community. See, I think I don't have like a specific community in mind, but I think just the ones where you have to like team up with random people, like you like Overwatch or Valorant. You always end up being like toxic people.
What's worse, Overwatch or Valorant for you?
That's a good question. I think probably Valorant.
Damn. Okay.
Whenever I play with like people from both games, they say Overwatch is more like I guess it depends on because they're probably dudes, so they probably find different things to be toxic. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like with Overwatch, you can keep the comms off. Like that is an option that is very much like doesn't affect your gameplay because you don't require comms to play well. I mean, if you just have decent map awareness, I think you're fine.
Yeah.
But with like Valorant, you actually do need comms, right? So the option of shutting off all communication with your team, it's kind of detrimental to your gameplay.
That's a question I'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point to know. Okay, so wow, Valorant is probably worse than Overwatch. That's shocking. What's next? Fariha, you go.
Yeah, like I don't think I grew up with any kind of sexism related stuff, like at least when I was younger, because I kind of just absorbed whatever my brother would play.
Yeah.
I did forget to say I really like Smash was probably my favorite game when I was younger, so it's stuff like that. I think maybe might have been like initial things of like, why are you playing fighting games for my parents, but I think they also threw those types of questions at my brother too.
Sure.
Yeah, like a lot of people didn't even really know I played games or stuff like that. Like I kind of just had my own Game Boy, GameCube, and I kind of just kept that to myself when I was younger, so I didn't really get that phase of it, and it wasn't like online, so it was fine. I think for sexism too, there's like it feels weird to say positive sexism, but like, you know, comments that are still sexist, but they're not necessarily like negative.
Oh.
Right? You know, like almost too praisey that it's like you're a girl, you're playing games. Oh wow, that's so cool, right? I'm like, that's a little
a
little cringe, right? So, yeah.
Like, the gamer girl quote is just so cringe.
Yeah, like on AVA, like I think I could, like all the friends that I had were girls. Like I technically couldn't verify because there weren't like comms or like it's only just chat, right? So I think I experienced a lot of that where it's like if they find out that you're a girl, it's like this big thing. And I think that would also just make people not want to talk as much either, or like say that they're a girl. Most toxic community right now I would still say is with Valorant, because I mean that's the only one I play right now, like mostly, and that's a game that requires comms, and I can like think of maybe 3 incidents that were like just really fueled by like sexism, right? Like people friendly firing just because I'm a girl, like that's the only reason, right? I think for me that's the most toxic community because that's one of the limited ones that I'm exposed to right now.
Do you think like I'll probably ask this later, but like do you think these sexist comments are they troll comments or something that they truly believe?
I think it's a bit of both.
For sure.
I think people do it to troll, to just get a kick out of making someone else feel bad.
Yeah.
But also, I think some of them inherently believe the things that they say.
Yeah.
And maybe they haven't been exposed to the opposite sex in real life.
True.
Is the perception I get.
I was gonna mention, like, you know, when you talk to like random people like online in games, and do you get like guys who suddenly try to like butter up to you or like,
I love that movie.
yeah.
Mhm.
Because they just give us free things or something, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, if you want to do that, sure, but like, you really shouldn't, to be honest.
On Valorant, the thing I found is like people who do that end up switching their personalities halfway through. I think the most
Oh, yeah.
recent incident we had with Ramisha, like me and Ramisha were in a game with these 3 other people, and it was like the first few rounds they were so conversational, like they were almost talking too much, but they were really friendly. But eventually, like 5 rounds into the game, complete like 180 turned into absolute monsters, like complete like sexism, misogyny, everything. So I don't know.
Times.
Yeah, it's great. So even when they're being genuine, sometimes I'm like still, because I've had that happen a few times where they seem very friendly,
Yeah.
to bait out your voice call so you feel comfortable speaking, and then they, take advantage of it.
Okay, Ramisha, your turn. Our first time
Um,
experiencing, and then the most toxic community.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if I can recall like a very first time, but I can recall like early memories. So I'll just like name one that kind of stuck with me as a kid. I moved here when I was in the 2nd grade, and obviously as a child I was much more sociable, but I was also a new kid, and so it wasn't always super easy to make new friends. So I opted a lot with kind of making friends with the kids in my neighborhood. And there was this one kid in particular who was a boy. Not gonna name his name, but he does still live on my street. And we
Tell us his name. Tell us his name.
No.
It's
kidding.
redacted. No, I'll tell you later. Don't worry. But yeah. So he was a boy, and I don't think I grew up quite tomboyish. Like my parents didn't really buy me dolls and stuff. I had like race cars and construction toys. I got my first console, which was like, I don't know if you consider it a console, but like a Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, I thought that was my first.
Yeah, that was my very first,
I count
very
it.
first console was that. And I was like just out of kindergarten. I got Pokemon Sapphire, and it was like the coolest thing. That was the first video game I owned, and I was obviously exposed to video games prior to that as well. I'm the eldest in my family, but I looked to my uncles and cousins for a lot of like guidance and like playing around as well, right? So they would introduce me to the games that they grew up with, which would be like old school Mario or Donkey Kong or something like that. So it wasn't my first rodeo with video games. I was very much aware of it, and I enjoyed it, right? And then I'd play video games with the kid in my neighborhood because he had so much. His parents bought him like every new system, any game that he wanted, he always got it. The privilege was showing, but it's fine. Either way, like I was always very much open to playing, and like I enjoyed myself. Like I had a great time. But there was obviously a skill discrepancy because I only owned like maybe 3 or 4 games, not even, and like 2 of them were like those super janky like cheap games. Like I remember distinctly one of them was like a what was it called? Lizzie McGuire. It was like a Lizzie McGuire platformer game.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Those
Yeah.
games are cursed.
Yeah, they're cursed, but they were
No,
fun, and they were all I had.
They had it in McDonald's toys too.
Yeah.
Did they? Oh.
I remember I bought a Kim Possible game from Walmart. I put it in my Game Boy. After one day, it like corrupted it. Like I had to get a new Game Boy.
Oh no.
Like that's literally a true story. Sorry, Sarisha, continue.
Yeah, so there was a bit of a skill discrepancy, and he would beat me in a lot of the games that we play, understandably so. Like I'm just a child, plus I don't have a lot of skills. I play only on my Game Boy, and like whenever I go to people's houses and like play with their kids on their system, and that's ever all the interactions I get. And so I guess he was like getting bored and like tired of it, I think. And I feel like part of the reason, like, I don't think he ever like, no, I think he did explicitly say like, it's because you're a girl that you suck at video games. Like, I think I just suck at video games because I suck. And like, I don't know if my gender has anything to do with it.
You don't
because
suck, Ramisha.
Yeah.
Maybe you did then.
I still kind of suck, but like, I don't know. It was just the instant equating my gender to the reason why I'm not good at video games never sat right with me. It sort of felt unfair because then I felt like that narrative as we grew up was constantly being portrayed in like everything. Like, girls can't do this, they suck at it, and blah blah blah. I'm like, it could just be I'm not good at it. I don't know why me being a girl has anything to do with it. But yeah, I guess that was like one of the more early, like this was when I was like 7 or 8. So like this was like probably the earliest experience. So obviously there have been more since, but you know. And so for a toxic community, I played a lot of League. Since like the 10th or 11th grade, I've been playing League. I've actually stopped quite recently, and shifted my attention to Valorant. Both are quite toxic, but in different ways. With League, you could hide your gender, especially if you had a very like gender neutral username. But you know, you would still experience like really harsh toxicity despite gender or not. Like they're still gonna go in on you and say things like you should kill yourself or whatever, right? But in Valorant, if you use comms, which you should be doing if you want to win a game, you tend to get ousted a lot easier for being a female, and then that's just like an ongoing onslaught of like, girl, the second I talk and they say, what did you say? I already know it's going to be I already know it's going to be a bad time. Like, that's just my signal. I'm like, forget it. I'm not even going to entertain it. But yeah, I think both communities have been really, really awful.
I just reminded me of one game, I think it was with you, Fariha, where it was just in Valorant, where it was all girls. And I was just so happy.
That was just such a supportive environment.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is so nice. I've never experienced this before. I want more of this.
I think there was a game where I played with my other guy friend, or it was RC, and then the other 3 players were also all women, and RC was just like really shocked at how like how different it was, because everyone was so supportive and wholesome.
Yeah.
He's like, wow, this is like so not such a like big contrast. Yeah.
Sure.
But Ramisha's comment like reminded me of like about the like going to the neighbors. I'm thinking of like brown parties and like dawats and stuff like that. And I'm like, now that I think about it, like I would, when the guys would be like playing video games and stuff, they would never like, they would invite each other to play,
but not me.
like as guests, but they never invite any of the girls. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't think because I can remember like so many times where I just kind of sit there like I don't want to talk to other people, I just want to play games. Like I'm watching them play games.
I was a lot more bold as a child, so I think it was very easy for me to just be like, oh, you guys are playing like Mario Party, can I play? But I was also very much like, I was susceptible to rejection as well. And it happened a lot, you know, you'd go up to them like, can I play? And they're like, no, you're a girl, you can't play. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I think even if I like, maybe if I did ask, like it would always be the thing of like, oh yeah, maybe play later, and it's just them like diverting the question, even if they're not like explicitly saying, oh, you can't play it because you're a girl.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about guys like our age, not like older siblings playing, and because then they might just give you a controller without like it being plugged in and stuff. But yeah. I think that's
No, I do remember exact same story. Like I think it was when I was in grade 8, and it was a dawat, and I was with the aunties. There's no girls my age at all. All the guys went to the guy room, and I remember walking up to the stairs to go to the washroom, and the guys' room, their door is open, and I just see a bunch of guys playing games. I was so jealous and sad, and to the point where I just kept going to the washroom, like having an excuse to just look up. You go up and down, and like I did that like maybe 8 or 6 times, and eventually I just went to the kitchen. I was just like sitting there in the corner, like this is the saddest feeling I've ever had. Like I really want to talk and like play games, but I can't. I stick with like listening to like Dodbot stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. Nice. But anyways, so that
poor
sucks.
Sumo.
Yeah, honestly. For all of us, even in Valorant right now, like it's not a things that we experience when we were young. It's an ongoing experience even till today, and I think that's a huge takeaway from this small segment. But that goes on to my second one, which you briefly touched upon, Ramisha, is what would you guys like to see changes in lobbies/games that could help create a safer environment? So yeah, comms is like such an important thing in Valorant, or like FPSs in general. That's so hard to like not like change. But what do you guys think?
I was just gonna say like better reporting systems for a lot of these cases.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like not even like I understand like some people spam report, some people, you know, like they're probably getting a lot of things to go through and like weed through, but some acknowledgement that your request at least went through, whether or not an action was taken. Because sometimes, you know, like the incident that I was talking about, like with me and Ramisha and these 3 other guys that were super, super toxic, Ramisha got banned.
That was so stupid.
And it's a situation where these guys were literally, like they said, they were homophobic, they were sexist, like all the isms, they covered their bases, right? And it was just a really weird thing how, like, maybe it's 3 against 2, but how do you know the 3 people reporting weren't in the wrong, right? So it's a tricky thing, I guess, but they need a better system.
Yeah, I mean, like, I spoke back because I was standing up for myself. I just want to make that clear. Like, it wasn't. I don't come onto these games like instantly toxic, or at least I keep it to myself. I would never like go on a voice chat and be like, kill yourself, like you're trash, blah blah blah. Like, no, I kind of just, if I have those feelings, I'll keep it to myself because I know words like that will hurt. I don't like hearing them, right? Mm-hmm. But the second they started speaking to me that way, I stood up for myself because I'm not going to just sit there and take it. I'm going to sit there and listen to them. And because I stood up for myself, I got punished. Meanwhile, I reported them. I didn't get any inclination as to whether or not my report went through or whether they got like chat restricted or whatever it might be. So yeah, I think they definitely need to solidify their system, their banning system here. Like, you should get at least like a bit of a notification or something like that.
Like what's it called, a warning system or something?
Yeah, I mean, like, whenever you report someone in League, for example, usually the feedback, if it does go through, you get it is acknowledged. Mm-hmm. They'll usually send you a message, a little notification after the fact, saying, "Oh, a report that you made recently has gone through, and we've taken like appropriate action." You're like, "Okay, cool," but like I've never once. I think they do it for sometimes, like for certain cases in Valorant, but never for like chat restrictions or chat bans or something. But even still, I don't think chat bans or chat restrictions is completely fair.
Right.
I think feel like doesn't really stop people from saying that sort of stuff.
No, yeah.
They just invite you to party and then start talking.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is kind of trash. And I remember playing League in like season 1, season 2, and they didn't even have that like ingrained into the system yet. So I think it really comes from like being a new game. But like Riot knows that they suck at these things. Yeah. So like you'd think that maybe they implement that or learn their lesson from League and change it in Valorant, but no, like they don't do that at all. Even in Blizzard, like I think Blizzard does slightly do a better job in terms of making it safe, quote unquote, but not too much. I think Riot just really needs to up their game, and like there's so many complaints. Like I feel like every single day they get like 20,000 complaints, but they're not even complaints. They're like genuine, like justifiable things that they need to fix, right? So I don't understand why Riot is stalling, honestly. Riot? I'm looking at you.
I think they prioritize certain things like making skins more than anything else. They want a cash grab. And if you ban their player base, they're not going to have people who are going to be able to buy their products. Mm-hmm. It's a very capitalistic approach, but unfortunately that's kind of the way it is. So that's why whenever we talk about situations like what can companies do, I'm sort of just like, I know in my heart there's not really much they can do, but all we can do is just hope that the environment and the community improves itself.
Do you think the need of changing is a lot more prevalent now than it is before? Because I think now that there are a lot of female streamers and just generally like a bigger like viewer count for females, I think especially on Twitter, the complaints are more I don't know, out there than it was before. Yeah, apparent.
Yeah, social media has made everything a lot more obvious now, right? Like it's all been publicized now. So
you can record someone being toxic and just put that out there.
Oh yeah, clip.
Yeah, you can clip people's Twitch streams. You can take your own screen. Like that's what we did for the game that I got chat restricted.
Have you ever
Fariha
posted?
Here. I posted it on Twitter. I didn't get much of a feedback there, but you know, you had the capability to screenshot the conversation and then send it to, right? So like it is very easy to get evidence of toxic behavior now. So it's always been around. It's just now it's prevalent because people are using the tools that are given to them to kind of show you what it's like, right? We had that situation with Tiffany, that a fantastic streamer who took her platform and compiled a video of clips of her being like very much harassed because she's a girl on Valorant. Like, she's using what she's got, which I can applaud her for. Like, that's fantastic, and it raised a lot of awareness of how the environment is for women.
I think what's really also helpful is like the community itself also just stepping up, like the males in the community. I think I've had situation in like lobbies where it's been like maybe one guy's being toxic, but there's like other dudes who are like at least being like, what are you talking about, just shut up kind of attitude, like kind of shutting him down in defense. And I've had that in a few situations, not that many situations, but the few that I have, it's happened, and it's memorable because they're at least doing something, and the other guys do stop. They'll maybe throw out some words like simp and shit and other stuff like that, but once they see that no one's joining in, that really helps.
Like that is the point I wanted to make. Like, one of them is the fact that girls could probably, like, they could step up for other girls, sure, but they won't listen until a guy says something, which is so stupid to me. Yeah. And like they would always be called simp, or like, oh, you just want to get into your pants or something. Like, no, that's not at all the case.
They're just decent human beings.
Yeah, like literally the minuscule amount of being respectful and normal is to help others. And being called a simp for that stuff is like so stupid. But it just also sucks that they won't listen unless a guy talks about it. And so, I guess, I don't know. I remember watching what's it called, Scuffed's podcast with Trainwreck and whatnot, and they had like Pokimane and Valkyrie.
I watched that, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the point that they made, is that like Peter Park and Toast, when they stood up for Pokimane or Lily Pichu, everyone listened to them. But when Lily Pichu, they're all saying names. But yeah, Lily Pichu and Pokimane said something. No one cares. They just kind of like roll their eyes and look the other way, which is so stupid.
I think something that people also need to realize is that it sucks, but a guy's voice matters a lot more than a woman's. It's just sort of how things have been, like in a sociological point of view. We live in a patriarchy, right? So it's a lot harder for women to get their point across. So when I experience toxicity or like anything of the sort in video games, whether it's from another guy or another girl, I stand up for myself, but I'm also paying attention to the people around me, especially the men, and to see whether or not they stand up for me as well. Because I think in those situations, keeping quiet actually does a lot more harm than they think.
For sure.
So they need, like, whenever you're in a situation where like a guy is being toxic to you and then another guy, a random, speaks up, sure, they're gonna call him a simp, but they stop, right? At the end of the day, they stop because they realize no one's playing in on it. The guy said to stop, and so now they're gonna stop. It sucks, but I feel like we kind of have to use what we've got to do better in these situations.
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes on to like the same mentality of like a class clown. Like, if you laugh with them, then you're kind of enabling that class clown thing. Like, they're just gonna wreak havoc. So if you just don't do anything, then they're gonna continue doing whatever they want. They think that they're funny, and they're just gaining amusement for themselves. But if you speak up and not enable them, that does help a lot with not just their mentality, but like the girl in that lobby feels a lot more safe too. And I think it's just a win-win situation at the point. Yeah, you get called simple, like, who cares? So I really, really do want to preach this out. Like, if you see a girl being harassed in your lobby, speak out, please. And yeah, like, protect each other, because no one wants to play a game and feel unsafe. And
I wouldn't call it white knighting either. I feel like there's a negative connotation behind standing up for these women. It's not white knighting. It's just doing the right thing. They just want to play the game like everyone else. They want to win just like everyone else. And it really sucks that their gender is being a reason for them to be hated on. It's not something they asked for, right? They all had the same intentions as you guys. So standing up for them isn't white knighting. It's just doing the right thing.
And,
And
why
being a
not
decent human, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. For
Because
sure.
when I bring that up, it's like, oh, you could try being a decent human, then they just kind of laugh at it. Like it's obviously it's cringe to them, right? Or it's cheesy to them.
Yeah.
But it's like really it's all like basic human decency is all we ask, and it's kind of tough because you're stuck with them for like 40 minutes of a game. You can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can make your female teammates more comfortable in that situation, like if you can go against a toxic person, then why not?
And even like just report them too. If you're too afraid to speak up, reporting does, well, not entirely, but it does help in a sense. Okay?
At least you know that you did something.
Yes.
If you want the good pat on the back for something, let it be that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you. Is there any last comments that you guys want to talk about? Yes, no?
I don't know, just like this whole conversation about like, you know, how when you guys mentioned how you know, like guys usually only listen to other guys.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the whole idea of like mansplaining, because I've also experienced that a lot too when I was gaming.
Oh, God, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'll be playing a certain character, and some guy will jump in and be like, oh no, you should be doing this skill when this happens, or like, as if I haven't been playing this character long enough to know how to use them.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly, like, just like open your eyes, dude. Like, what the hell? We're way, like, honestly, I've seen so many better female gamers than guys, and I'm like, what's the point of this like stupid argument that guys are better than girls? Like, this entire,
It's just the player, not the
stupid.
gender.
Yeah, like like
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say, like, I feel very power trippy when it's like a dude's being really toxic in the lobby, and then you end up top fragging, or like they end up doing really bad.
For sure.
That's
And
so
they'll
satisfying.
still have something to say, but at that point, you know, it's just like they're just bitter. It's a really
yeah.
good feeling. It's a very 10 out of 10 recommend.
Okay, I have
Fuck
yet
drugs, fuck sex, just that feeling.
Yeah.
There's something I just wanted to throw in as well, because all three of us stream, and I actually kind of wanted to bring this up earlier, but you know, like when you get that whole, well, I don't know about you guys, but I've been told like it's always a lot easier for girls to stream and stuff like whenever I talked about streaming initially, I was always met with like, oh, it'll be easy for you, you're a girl. And I feel like a lot of guys say this, and I don't know if they realize how like rough that is, you know?
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of insecurities just like anyone else would. And I don't ever think of myself as being like a perfect being, super attractive, super this and that. Like I just want to authentically be myself whenever I stream. And so I go into it with like very low expectations, I'll have you know. But still, I just really hope that people come there to see me, and not because like, oh, because I'm a girl, they're gonna just like sub to me. Like I hope it's because they're entertained. And so saying things like, oh, because you're a girl, you'll be a really good streamer. It's like, I don't, it's like a harmful thing to say, because I think a lot of women, whenever they try streaming for themselves, they're just doing it with like the intention of just trying something new and putting themselves out there for a little bit.
I didn't want to get into streaming, but I think we're almost over time. But yeah, for sure, for like a part 2 in the future, I do want to dive into like streaming, because one of the questions I did want to ask was, what were your worries as being a female as a streamer? And yeah, I think that's a very common feeling, and just the idea of being told that you're gonna get it easy just because you're a female. Like, no, like,
The stats don't support that.
yeah,
Factoids.
actually
Stats do not support
Actual
that.
facts.
But yeah, we'll get into that later. But yeah, any last thoughts for you? Because I kept saying up.
No.
Okay.
I had comments on streaming, but we can save that for later.
Yeah,
We can do it next time.
thank you for joining. Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Aw, you guys. I'm so
Aw.
Aw.
happy. I do want
Okay.
because yeah, having a all females cast is just one, really fun, and two, like, this is a very like serious topic that is ongoing, and it's more prevalent nowadays because streaming is taking off for Twitch community and YouTube community because of COVID. But overall, yeah,
Honestly, God bless.
And you guys are all streamers, good for me, but yeah.
I streamed exactly 3 times. I can count them on one hand.
More than
I
But
hit
I'll take
affiliate
it.
and just haven't done it since. Like, that's it. I'm literally just like,
That's
I
it.
peaked and I'm like, this is it. It can't get any better than this.
Nah.
Let me just stop myself.
Your peak is yet to come, Ramisha. It's
Oh
coming.
wow, thank you.
But yeah, I'll link down all their channel names, so make sure you check them out. And thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.